From about the age of 9, I'd had different experiences of anxiety and what I would have called depression, and I just got to the point where, as I was nearing 30, those episodes were becoming more frequent and stronger, and whilst I was trying to deal with them on my own, I was finding that difficult, and I felt that I needed to go back and see someone again.
It was a time of my life that I was feeling very low, and especially I was feeling this anxiety very badly, let's say. Life was very difficult. I think when you experience anxiety in your life, that makes you do everything in a different way. You feel like you are not capable to do your even normal routine. It's a big thing for you, and and it was really difficult because you feel very lonely. Nobody even around you could understand, and you have to cope with your life. Life has to be the same, but you are not feeling the same.
I found that I got very concerned about small things and then lost sleep and became agitated. And the more agitated I became, the less sleep I had and the worse it became. So it was like a sort of endless circle that I couldn't break.
I'd had a brain injury, I'd had a near drowning, was 9 days in a coma, and then I lost the connection between my brain and my movement. So I spent many months after in Putney in the Royal Hospital for Neurodisability, and then I was discharged. A year or two later, I suddenly developed this awful phobia of anybody knocking me in the street, and I'd shout and I'd feel that they're going to knock me over and I'd be back in a coma, and this time I'd probably die. And it got to the stage where I decided to tell my GP because it was out of hand.
I remember my mum being quite shocked when I spoke to her about how I was feeling, because she said she didn't really see that I was unhappy, but I knew that for a long time I had been coping with things and masking things and having maybe a different version of the truth as to how I was actually feeling that I was willing to talk about.
I think it gave me a safe space to come and be with like-minded people who had similar problems, and to understand that it was not unusual, certainly, and not necessarily out of the ordinary either. I felt it was a very friendly and accessible place to come, and I looked forward in the end to my weekly visits.
You learn how to think in your feelings, which is an important thing. Just to think that maybe they are not as bad as you thought previously or originally. You could try to stop and think and maybe breathe, and maybe not making a big deal about things that sometimes make you like, panicking about things, but they are not that bad.
I came with one specific purpose, which was to get rid of my phobia of being knocked in the street or something, or anywhere, and I left without it. So I got what I wanted, and so in my case it worked well. I haven't relapsed, I don't think it will happen, and also I got a few handy techniques that have helped me ever since, with other things as well, so I'm very satisfied.
I learnt to recognise in myself the signs of stress and tried to understand, firstly, where they were coming from, and then what to do about them. And it was a very helpful course in the sense that it was properly planned and well delivered, and it gave me a stage-by-stage introduction as to how I am the most important person in all this. It's really down to me, and I learned some valuable lessons.
I'm very grateful with Back on Track because I think this therapy it sounds a little bit like wow, but it really changed my life because I'm not afraid anymore to go really down, although it could happen because I know that I have experienced these ups and downs. But knowing or having there the option that you know how to go out of that bad moment or that deep moment makes you feel like, okay, nothing will happen, nothing could be that bad. And it's like knowing the technique, and then you always can rely on that technique.
It honestly did change my life. I was able to go and speak to my parents in full honesty and say, this is how I have been feeling, this is how my thought process works, this is what scares me, this is, you know, all of those elements that I had been too afraid to say before because I had never heard anyone else say them, and I thought it was really terrifying.
You can refer yourself. This is the point. That this is something that is in the palm of your hand. You can say, actually, I'm going to take a step. I'm going to go and do this. I'm doing this because I believe I need help, and I think this might be the right place to start. So I would say, I would counsel, there is no shame and no reason why any right-thinking person should not take this as seriously as a broken leg.
Life is good now. I really enjoy normal things, which is something that I really like. I really enjoy learning, which is like, there is a part in this whole thing that you learn about mindfulness, which is to enjoy life with what you have, normal things, maybe washing your dishes or going from one place to another, and maybe it's a sunny day and then you enjoy that light in your face, or little things that make your life great, or that you can just stop and think about those privileges that you have.
I honestly felt like someone had switched on a light. Like, I actually remember openly crying because when they talked to me about obsessive compulsive disorder, I was like, and I had been through various different episodes prior to that, and I'd never really known what it was. I just knew how I felt. When you're going through something, you think that you're the only person going through it because it's happening to you, and you don't know how to articulate what is happening to you. But having someone that can help you through that, and just to listen and to guide you through it, and to provide you with the right advice, or the advice that's most appropriate for you at that time, even sometimes when you might not want to hear it, it's really valuable.